Hello, dear friends. The air feels less heavy and lighter. The clouds are moving fast, but the sun is shining. Opinion piece. Trans-Substantiation, Metamorphosis, Transfiguration, Energetic Cleansing, Gestation period. It is a great alchemical process. Seed becomes plant. Germination of stellar seeds. Evil doesn't work in high frequency. Let's start. The concept of Trans-Substantiation was taught to me as a child in school, and I always thought it was a theological fantasy, until I realized that they were talking about alchemy without knowing it, like the bread of heaven, the water of life, and the salt of the earth. All wisdom is written in code, but literalists do not see beyond their noses when they make a literal interpretation of metaphors. We are in a process of germination of stellar seeds. Trans-substantiation is the action and effect of transforming one substance into another, to transmute something into something else, to change the form of someone or something. For example, the philosopher's stone transubstantiated metals into gold. In Catholic doctrine, it is to turn the bread and wine into the body and blood of Christ through the mantra of Eucharistic consecration. But what they do not say is that the sacrament of communion comes from ancient Egypt and was made with biatomic gold leaf of aurated oxide. Gestation. According to Judith Castle, we are in an immense period of gestation where the new crystalline body is forming more rapidly, while our souls are in a period of intense gestation. In the coming weeks, we will witness an intense transformation inside and out, transition from one form to another, metamorphosis. As the seed becomes a plant and spreads toward the light of the sun through the layers of the earth, it goes through an intense transformation to see the light of the day, and then grow even faster and taller than ever before. This is what is happening to us now. The cells within the seed and the plant know what to do and how to stretch themselves without worrying about anything. This is a great alchemical process, a transfiguration in the highest sense of the word. We just need to allow it all to unfold within us, but always centered in the heart and soul, and allow the divine to guide us through this. The plant itself doesn't resist transformation and transfiguration. It simply allows chi, prana, and life force to flow through it, even if it is stretched much farther than before. There is no separation. According to Jesus through John Salman, separation is unreal, has not happened and never will happen. But while you are in the form, you experience it in an incredible realistic way, and it can often cause you a lot of pain and suffering. When you awaken, all of that will be gone, as will all painful, disturbing, or unsettling memories. You are all love incarnate, but for the most part of you become so busy with your daily humankind life that you become distracted from the reality of who you really are by the stress of that daily life as a human being, that you remain in an illusory dream, like a state of unawareness of your true nature. Because you chose your path and an enormous encouragement with divine help, you cannot fail to follow it exactly as you agreed. Therefore, discard any feelings of unworthiness or incompetence, for they are invalid. You cannot ignore the immense amount of suffering that many are experiencing at this time, and setting the intention to send love to those who are suffering is very effective and potent. Everyone is perfectly following their own individual path, and what is happening all over the planet is a huge movement towards awareness of the infinite power of love. According to the Arcturian Council through Daniel Cranton, there are many ways to raise consciousness. It doesn't have to happen through suffering, but when a being doesn't pay attention, it becomes a choice of an unconscious level. No one consciously says they want more pain and suffering to come into their life, but it happens frequently. And although it always has a purpose, you can ascend just as quickly and easily by following your joy. You may need to go through some negative emotions before you get the place of love within you. Reset news. No one knows the timing of the launch of major transitional actions. Even the high-level white hats do not know the exact timing of the goals that must be reached to allow everything to be done safely and never return to the previous system. This will happen because the frequency of this planet and humankind is getting higher and higher, and it is so high that no evil can function on this planet. It has been said that for the emergency transmission system to go into effect, the general population must be at an awakened level of 65 to 81%. On Monday 21st November, John O'Savin said, in quotes, "In fact, we have seen those numbers in the last 10 days. 80% of the population awake doesn't mean that there will be no civil unrest, but that the outcome is decisive." Elon Musk, owner and manager of the Starlink satellite system, believes that the QFS would be officially operational sometime between now and mid-December, and that the quantum internet would be available by the end of December. But this is only a personal opinion. Max Wolf's opinion. The next global economic system will not only be fraud-proof, it will track crime. In addition, to connect to the Starlink satellite-based economy of the QFS, governments will have to sign up to the GISRA protocol. The QFS is already up and running and has been integrated into more than half of the world's nation-states. But the UK and US have failed to integrate with other countries and continue to struggle to create their own world government. Part of their agenda is to destroy their own national economy and impose control over their population to preserve their own personal wealth. According to Awaken 3D, the world is preparing for a massive revaluation of gold and the cancellation of fiat debt. Central banks hold most of the world's national debt. Consequently, it would be science fiction to calculate a way to cancel government debt worldwide under such a plan. Therein also lies the way to back national currencies with revaluated gold assets. The details and structure of such a plan are unknown now. According to the X-22 report, the dark side intelligence operation no longer controls the people. Social media platforms cannot go a day before their narrative is debunked. The truth cannot be swallowed all at once. It must be digested bit by bit. Here is what the secret Space Force source had to say about the situation, in quotes. On a collective level, it's a very old dark energy that's been removed from the Earth. That energy source is dead now. The attacks and difficulties facing humankind today are from servants and zombies infected with this energy and programmed to carry out their agenda. Close quotes. Politics. Republican congressmen launch investigations into alleged misappropriation of funds intended for Ukraine. Elon Musk's hydrogen car shocks the auto industry. Elon Musk offers amnesty for all accounts not banned for spamming or breaking the law. Donald Trump announced that he would run for office. However, he didn't say 2024. Trump went to many countries to give them the option to join the coalition, according to Derek Johnson. G20 globalists push for mandatory digital passports for international travel, according to Steve Biko. Anything digital can be controlled by governments. Governments are collapsing. They cannot sustain their facade for much longer. The deception goes ahead and is exposed. More revealing events will awaken the people. Let these things happen. It will become very obvious control. Politics is not the most important thing in the world. What is happening in your community should be a concern, not national news. Keep the television off. That's the healthiest advice we can give you. Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni believes that it is Paris that should pay Africa, not the other way around. In her view, in quotes, the reason Africans are poor is because French rob people of their resources and force them to do manual labor for next to nothing. When African leaders want to end slavery and exploitation, the French send in their mercenaries. Close quotes. Political Dilemma by Michael Snyder. If you had to choose between living under an oppressive world government or living through a nuclear war, which would you choose? I don't like either of those two options, but in recent days, Western leaders have been trying to convince us that we will have one or the other. I think they are trying to use the threat as a scare tactic to advance their agenda, because if they were worried about war, they would be working very hard to prevent it from happening. Reflections. According to Ranra, free will is the key ingredient in determining the highest good for all that is. In other words, if we lull ourselves into the agreement that everything will take a long time, then we manifest our free will that it will still take a long time, because the free will is respected by all higher spiritual forces. Therefore, let us use our freedom to speed everything up and prevent things from dragging on. Each of us is the key player in this process. To all Johnny Latecomers by Anna von Wright. Many people are waking up at last, and that is a good thing. Each of them is going through a period of shock, fear, anger and grief, followed by confusion and more fear, and finally a commitment to do something about it. People go through these reaction complexes to different degrees and at different speeds, so each of us has a unique experience of the same thing, waking up and seeing the world around us. Often, people wake up like hibernating bears, angry and desperate, and dive headlong into any theory that seems to make sense. This is not good when these people are just appearing now, and the rest of us has been here separating the wheat from the chaff for decades. All their efforts do is cause confusion and serve to mislead people down blind alleys that are already fully dissected and known. What happens when you look to the stars according to the Arcturian Council through Daniel Scranton? You have the capacity to receive stars, planets, moons and other celestial beings. You simply have to open yourself to the energies that come in, as well as the starlight and stardust that comes above and is yours. You benefit in many ways by paying attention to the stars, because in doing so you recognize that there is a meaning to those lights in the night sky. Curious. During the last 2 weeks, repeatedly, Brazilian media local internet users reported that pilots and civilians sighted UFOs over the skies of the southern states of Rio Grande do Sul and Santa Catarina, leading to interception attempts by Brazilian Air Force fighter jets. New book. Eyewitness to Slavery on Ceres and Mars, according to Dr. Michael Sala. In 1982, at the age of 10, Tony Rodriguez began 20 traumatic years as a slave. The last 15 years of his ordeal were spent on Mars and Ceres as a slave. In early 2022, Tony published his book Seres Colony Cavalier, detailing his experience. New book, Treasure Planet by Josh Eaton. The basic premise of this book is to expose the evil of the Draconians who taught ancient civilizations the savagery of human sacrifice, enslavement of others, and abuse of the little ones. The Draconians were demons incarnate and trained civilization on how to control their people and extract gold, which was given as a tribute to the alien gods. This was done to the Amerindians and earlier civilizations in the Middle East, where they served Baal as god and sacrificed infants. According to the book, The Radionic Ships of the Heavenly Host, there are more than 500 million radionic ships around the Earth every day. They are in the fourth dimension and cannot be seen with the naked eye. However, they create distinctive magnetic field type patterns in the three-dimensional cloud structures of the Earth below, which nature cannot produce, and are their signature. Radionic clouds are easily seen with the naked eye, and some are quite dynamic. The Bible referred to them in the old days as glory in the sky. If you see a radionic cloud overhead, you know that there is a radionic craft causing the cloud. It is as simple as that. The first time you see one of you will be hooked for life, because radionic clouds are one of those things you can't unsee. The book features over 450 images of different types of radionic clouds all over the planet, with a detailed explanation of each one. No other book or website has this information, as it is in fact the new UFO revelation we have all been waiting years for. And that's all for today. Thanks a lot, dear friends.